Good morning, everybody. It's Steve from Life in 207. Saturday, March 23rd. We're down here early in the morning, and I'll tell you, there's nothing better than waking up early on a Saturday, getting into the shop. We have hit wet season. It seems like our basement floor is going to be wet until summer, maybe late spring. Of course, as I start this video, my water softener kicks on, and it's going to be running for a while, so there's no point of trying to avoid it. Just going to work through it. So I apologize for the loud water softener sounds here in the background. Today we're going to work on our socket drawer. We're going to do some shop organization because it definitely needs it. And if we have time, which is a big if, we will get to the bins and work on some more tools. Maybe get some listed. And maybe there'll be some other stuff throughout the week. I've been adding stuff into the videos as I do stuff throughout the week. I've been finding myself with a little bit more time in the morning. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it. Okay, guys, here is the pegboard after having about 4 coats of black enamel spray paint. And I figured we'll work on the pegboard socket organization project first. And then we'll move on to some other basement shop projects. All right, guys, well, we had a little bit of a hiccup down here in the shop trying to start that pegboard project. Unfortunately, I can't find the hardware I need. I know I have it. It's around here somewhere. I've got bins and bins and bins of unorganized hardware. And I do have an organizational system, and I will show that later in the video, that I'm actually getting set up. But unfortunately, what I need is not organized. So I scrapped the zip tie idea because I don't think it's going to work out the way I want. So I figured I'd go with the tapered 832 and nuts. And so I looked and I looked and I looked, couldn't find any. I have some pan heads, but they're too round, so they're going to stick out of the pegboard at the bottom. So I was like, okay, I don't really want to spend any money. So I was like, maybe I can rivet them. So I spent more time finding the rivets that I know I have. And I did find them. But, of course, after spending all that time looking for them, the size rivet I want to use, my rivet gun does not accept. It's too big. So, frustrating morning in the shop because time is precious here. So we're going to go to Lowe's or any other hardware store that opens at 6 and hopefully find some of these tapered 832nd and some. Oh, I have the nuts, so I don't need the. I don't need those. But so yeah, we're gonna go do that and hopefully get something done this morning. But yeah, so frustrating when you know you have all the hardware you could ever need and it's just not organized. So definitely gonna take some more time to get this stuff going. All right, guys, the pegboard is in, and it's looking good. I used the remainder of those magnets for my ratchets and commonly used extensions. And on some of the smaller stuff, I used neodymium magnets from Harbor Freight, the little tiny ones, with some super glue, and I don't think those are going anywhere. And I did the same thing with the longer extensions in the rear. Now, these are just some of the Craftsman wrenches I use in a pinch, just fast. So that's why I put them up here with the sockets, just so I can grab stuff and go. So now it's time to load up these sockets and see how the store looks when it's complete. All right, guys, don't mind the noise. We got the furnace on, we got the sub pumps, and we got the dehumidifier all going at once. So I'll try to speak up. Here is the socket drawer project that we're working on. And we got the rails in, the magnets for the socket wrenches and extensions. We put the sockets in. At least what I have available right now, stuff that I've been using lately. I did forego the 3/4 because I forgot to take into consideration my impact sockets. So we'll find another place for the 3/4. Not a big deal here at home because we don't really use 3/4 sockets here at home. So we'll find another place, no big deal. We have metric on this side, SAE on this side.
This is a mix of Craftsman, Pittsburgh, Mac tools. The ultimate goal is to get this drawer kind of mostly vintage Craftsman. We'll see. I have to complete sets before I can really do any of that. I did put my most used socket wrenches and extensions here with magnets, so they're not going to move. They're going to stay right in place, and they have their stored place. So I think that looks really good. I'm a little sad I'm already running out of room for my impact sockets, but in the future I may add some more magnetic rails in the spaces here and keep some of the smaller stuff up front. I don't think it's perfect yet. I think it's coming along, but it's nice to have this a little bit neater and available to avoid the skips, and I can pretty much add as many sockets as I have room. So I think it came out great. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think it was worth it for me, and I think eventually this Yukon box is probably going to be all pegboard out and have magnetic rails in it, because I do like that system, minus the 2 deep drawers. We'll figure out what to do with those. Possibly 3/4 could go in there. We'll see. Anyway, that project's a wrap for now. Well, when I was cleaning downstairs, doing some organization, I found this little guy, this little salamander. And I'm just gonna let him outside next to the stream. This is just a little puddle by the stream. But it's not gonna be a good home down in the basement, even though it is wet. It's probably a little warm for him, but I don't wanna squish him by stepping on him. So we're gonna let him out here. Hopefully he'll survive. Hopefully he'll find a new home, or he'll come right back into the basement. Who knows? Okay, guys, it's Sunday, a new day. I ran out of time yesterday, so we're back down the shop, and we did some shop organization because it was getting a little messy down here. So I'm going to show you what I've been up to. We started utilizing those TJ Maxx dumpster shelves. So I'll show you that, and then maybe we'll get into something else. All right, as you guys can see, the shop is back to our normal state of chaos. Nice and clean, ready for more projects. Here's what I did with those other shelves I got from the TJ Maxx dumpster. And I think these are going to work out great. This is really the only place I could put them in the basement that's going to work out. You saw those shelves before. Those are working out pretty good. All this stuff was in the black cabinet. If you've seen any of my shop tours or organizational videos, that's where I had most of that stuff. But it wasn't really working out in that black shelf or black cabinet. But I think this is going to work out a lot better. These storehouse cases from Harbor Freight, I can now get at them without having to lift up another one. So I can just easily come and grab and go. So eventually those will get labeled. Some of them are empty, they'll get filled. Here's where I have all my nuts and bolts, and most of them are labeled. On the other side here, we have more nuts and bolts and washers. Down below, I decided to utilize some of these plastic bins I have. And we'll put larger bolts and stuff, maybe some overflow, and we'll just label those with Sharpie as needed. I don't know if I ever showed this before, but this is my homemade thread checker. And I'm starting to think I have an obsession with those Harbor Freight magnets. Anywho, I made this, I think last year, before I went to Kentucky for a work trip. And yeah, it's just magnetic rails with some bolts and nuts to match up their thread. As you can see, if I pull that one off, it's 9/16 18. So I could have bought one of those cheap Chinese ones that you see on Temu or Amazon, but I just kind of made this one. I had all these bolts and nuts. I did have to purchase some of the smaller stuff that I just didn't have to put on there, but I think total this whole project here cost me all of, I don't know, $10. So, and if I ever break one of those bolts, or not break, but cross thread it, checking something, I can just replace it. So I think it's pretty neat. So that's pretty cool. And we got some zip ties down below. So we're making progress on the organization. We still got all these bins to go through. And I think I'm going to revisit my grinder cart, maybe make something a little smaller, because I am certainly running out of room here in the basement. I did put my miter saw in the middle here. And all the wood I had, I'm going to put out in the shed because it's taking up a lot of room, especially when I'm not doing anything. If I have a project going on, it makes sense, but I haven't had any woodworking projects in the last month or so. So I put that out in the shed, and that's going to save me a little bit of space here in the shop. Here's that black cabinet I was talking about. Right now, it just has some random stuff in there. It's not organized at all. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I need to make this shop as efficient as possible as far as space. So we'll see if we're going to keep it or not. And, we got that socket drawer all filled up. That's looking nice. And I think our next organizational task is to kind of make sure these toolboxes get in order here. So that's the update so far. It's been a busy weekend, and hopefully we can get some more stuff done here. Okay, guys, we're short on time this week. So instead of going through the bins, we're just going to take this pair of kind of like a slip joint plier. But I saw here it says claw wrench. So we're going to take that to the wire wheel and clean it up. Maybe the fiber wheel, I'm not sure yet. But let's clean this up, and that'll be this week's cleanup. Here is the before. And we'll be back soon with the after. All right, after a decent wire wheeling, we can see that it says Mechanics Tool Co. Eagle Claw Wrench. And then patent February 1912. And Rockford, Illinois, USA. I'm going to put these in some Evaporust just to get all the stuff I couldn't get. Even with my little Dremel tool, I couldn't get it. So just to make sure we get all the rust in there, we're going to soak this in some Evaporust while I get the wire wheel plugged in. I've been meaning to clean up the shaft on this screwdriver, so we're just going to hit that real quick. But yeah, we'll get this in some Evaporust really soon. Okay, guys, we took the wire wheel to the flathead screwdriver here. This is a Globemaster, and it's a number 2602. It's got a very sturdy shank, so I think I'm just going to use this as a pry bar. It's nothing special, but it's a nice little screwdriver. It's heavy duty, so we're going to use that as a little workshop pry bar, but that's nice and clean. We'll oil that up. And we're going to get this Mechanics Tool Co. claw wrench in some Evaporust just to kind of get all the areas here. So I'll pour a little Evaporust in there, just enough to get over. Hopefully this container doesn't have any leaks in it. We're going to find out. That's enough there. We're going to let that sit. And we'll come back and probably sometime tomorrow morning, and we'll do a final cleanup on it. And for right now, we found a little home for that screwdriver we're going to use as a pry bar. We'll put it next to the Craftsman pry bars. Okay, guys, it's Monday morning. This has been sitting in for 24 hours, and we're going to pull it out. And definitely got into the areas where I wasn't able to get with the wire wheel. The crevices and such. So what we're going to do now is rinse this off, and then we're going to oil it like crazy with WD-40 just to make sure it doesn't flash rust. And then we're going to decide if we're going to clean it up further or what we're going to do. I want to do some research on this tool and see like what it looked like brand new, if there's any pictures of it. And that'll kind of that'll kind of give me an idea if I want to start sanding down some of the blemishes in here or just leave it as is. Because I'd hate to make a tool that wasn't, didn't come out of the factory shiny to make it shiny with the fiber wheel. I don't know if this was blued originally or what. So we'll get this rinsed off here in water. And we'll give it a really good dry. It definitely took on some coloring, that's for sure. So we'll have to see if we'll have to give it another wire wheel or what on that. All right, let's give this a nice oil bath. I love WD-40 in the morning. All right, like I said, I want to do a little bit more research on this tool before I go and do any more cleanup, and we'll kind of see what we should do with it. Okay, after doing some quick research from eBay and Google, I found these exact pairs, and they definitely would have been, more of just a bare metal, maybe blued, as far as I can tell. I'm not exactly sure what type of coating it would have had, but definitely not super shiny. So we're going to just clean this up, give it another wire wheel to kind of take off some of the color that the Evapo-Rust gave it, and then I think we're just going to call it good. Ew, it snowed again. We were just in the 50s and getting close to the 60s in Maine, and then this happened. So we're now officially out of fall spring and into second winter. Pray for me. Okay, guys, we did the final wire wheeling, and you can still definitely make that Mechanics Tool Co. out. This nice pair of Parrot pliers, basically. And I'm just going to leave it as is, wire wheeled and oiled. I'm not going to do a full restoration. You can see it has some pitting. This is just a cleanup. Again, I wasn't sure how to completely refinish this tool. I feel like taking the fiber wheel to it would just be too much. I think it kind of looks great like this. So we're going to leave it like this. We're going to put it in the toolbox, or we'll hang it up here on one of the magnets. I'm not sure. It's a nice looking tool. And it's got that really early date there, 1912, which is pretty sweet. So I think we're going to wrap this up and call that one done. Okay, guys, I wanted to share a little bit of history about this tool before we put it away. It looks like Joseph A. Schlier was the founder of Eagle Claw Wrench, and he received a patent 740553 in 1903. He applied for patent number 1016296 in 1910 and received it in 1912, which is the tool we're looking at here. It looks like this tool was popular for farriers removing horseshoe cocks. And later on in the Eagle Claw Wrench Company's life, they created a pipe wrench, which I will try to show on screen right here. So just a little history on it. Certainly piqued my interest because it's not something I've seen before. And I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't look like they made a whole lot of tools. And yeah, so we're going to wrap this one up. All right, I think the last project of this week for this video is we're sorting through some sockets here. A buddy of mine at work is trading me something, a pair of Deutsch connectors that I need, crimp connectors. And he's missing some of these sockets here. It's not all of these sockets. I'm just bringing him some options. He'll probably choose the Max sockets. I wouldn't be surprised. But we got some SK, some Husky and Craftsman, and a few sizes he's missing. So I'll report back to you what he ends up taking. And I'll show you the Cornwell Deutsch connectors I picked up. All right, guys, as I figured, my buddy took the Max sockets. And this is what I got in return. This is a Deutsch connector crimper from Cornwell, 55001 for 14, 16, 18 gauge. And it says size 16. And I will be using that a lot here at work. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. I appreciate you stopping by. We had fun taking a look at that and cleaning up that Mechanics Tool Co. Eagle Claw wrench and getting some of that rust and paint off. But we left some of the patina, and that's okay. Not a full restoration, but now it's oiled and it's not going to rust any further. We put that in the toolbox, and it was cool to learn a little bit of its history. We didn't dive too much into the history, but it was cool to learn a little bit about it. And yeah, so I'm going to close out the video here. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. It really helps. And thanks for watching.